Hello everyone, this is a quick onboarding tutorial for teachers that already have a background in Python. First things you'll notice is Pixelpad helps you organize your files into preset folders of classes, rooms or levels, sprites and images, sounds, and functions. If we press play, you'll notice a blank screen. That makes sense because we haven't coded anything yet. Let's add a player to our game. First, we'll need to add a player class. We'll name it player. So this adds a new player to our files, but it doesn't actually add a new player to the game window. If we were to recompile this, you'll notice that no new object has been created. To create an object, you would call the class the same way you would in raw Python. Now, if we were to recompile this, you'll see a small object in the room. This is the new player object we just created. All Pixelpad classes have built-in properties, so if I wanted to move this player to the top right hand of the screen, I could do this, and it'll move to the top right. A quick note, I tend to use names like Liam when I'm labeling objects because it helps students understand it a lot better. I see a lot of teachers using self.p1, for example, equals to player, or self.player equals to player, and this can be very confusing for first-time learners. Instead, my preference is using names. So we could do things like, and this becomes extra clear for new learners that there's 4 players in the room, named Liam, Emma, Noah, and Jake. Now that you have a setup like this, an easy activity for you to do is to ask the students to put the 4 players into the 4 corners of the room. For now, let's just stick with Liam. And let's say we wanted to move him to the left side. We could use negative numbers in the bottom left. We could also scale him a little bigger or a little smaller. And of course, you can give Liam an image. Now I want to create a background. We would follow the same steps as before. We add the file, then we call the class, add the sprite property, and move the background to the top. I want to add some parallaxing, so I'm going to add a foreground layer to my game. Let's recompile, and there you go. Everything we've done so far has been in the game start. Game start runs only when the game starts, but if you want it to run on a loop, we're going to have to use the game loop. Say you wanted to move the foreground to the left, you would do this. Of course, you can add some conditionals as well. This makes it so that the foreground will loop forever. So far, we've done everything in the game file. My advice is to stick with the game file until students have mastery over it. You can already do a lot of things in a single script, and it's much easier for students to understand when you can see everything in a single file. And navigating between files can be difficult for some students. But of course, if you wanted, you can always program within the class itself as well. So let's try adding some code to the player class. First, we have to initiate our variables and our loop. So if we press place, our dino jumps. And that about wraps it up.